Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Incidentally, here also it's morning.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
दीपाली मैम, आप और श्वेता मैम साथ में बैठे हैं क्या? हाँ, तो ये आपका इको आ रहा है, आप दूसरा म्यूट करके रखिए। हाँ,
So can we start? All the speakers and guests are joined.
मैडम डॉक्टर तिवारी को कॉल कर लीजिए आप।
Tiwari sir joined, already joined the event.
Good morning, Dr. Mudita Arora, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Where are you placed right now?
Right now, I am in Kentucky, USA, and I just moved from California.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a nutrition institute, right? Where you are?
Sir, Tiwari sir से भी contact किया. He is joining within 1 minute.
ओके,
Dr. Tiwari has not joined that.
Sir, certainly join within 1 minute.
Okay. यार वो भाई को बोलना जोर से
सर तिवारी जी आ गए। नमस्कार सर।
Morning, sir. Dr.
आप
Tiwari.
म्यूट है सर, आप म्यूट है।
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
हाँ,
Sir,
ये
yes,
सर।
welcome to you, sir.
Yes, so can we start the program, Uttam Sharma?
यस सर।
A very good morning to everyone. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. This is a famous quote given by Thomas Carlyle. Happy World Health Day 2022 to everyone. In the midst of the pandemic, a polluted planet, increasing diseases like cancer, asthma, heart diseases, there is a need to focus and grab global attention on urgent actions needed to keep humans and the planet healthy and foster a movement to create society focused on well-being. Health is the opposite of disease and also means the safety of the body from physical, social, and mental disorders. A healthy person is a person who is able to serve himself, his nation, and his community. I, Dr. Shweta Keswani, Assistant Professor, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science, Food and Nutrition Department, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, welcome all honored dignitaries, head of the institutes, head of the departments, coordinators, faculty members, and participants in World Health Day Celebration 2022. Today, due to some unavoidable reason, our respected Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Tharsar, and Dean Dr. Santosh Dharma could not join this celebration. But we have already received their blessings for the program from both respectively. Every work remains unmoved and unconvinced without the blessing of the Almighty. To make this morning a blessed one, may I now request the technical team to invoke Goddess Saraswati and enlighten the lamp.
असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्युर्मामृतं गमया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
Thank you so much, technical team. Now, I would like to request Dr. K.M. Guruprasad sir, Director, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Science, and Dr. Uttam Sharma sir, Coordinator, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science, for the floral welcome of our today's chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jivaji University, Gwalior, Dr. Avinash Tiwari sir.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, madam.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Again, I would like to request Dr. K.N. Guruprasad sir and Dr. Uttam Sharma sir for the floral welcome of our today's speaker, Ms. Mudita Arora.
Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. Respect. Are we able to reimagine a world where clean air, water, and food are available to all, where economies are focused on health and well-being, where cities are livable, and the people have control over their health and the health of the planet. In order to take a step ahead, we all have gathered here to celebrate World Health Day, which is celebrated every year on 7th April, initiated by World Health Organization. I would like to orient you all about the last year theme, and this year theme is Our Planet and Our Health. So our eminent speaker will focus on how we can save our health and thus how we can save our planet. Now, without taking any pause, I would like to request Dr. K.N. Guruprasad sir, Director, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Science, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Shweta. On behalf of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science and Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, I welcome the chief guest on the occasion of World Health Day celebration, Dr. Avinash Tiwari, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jivaji University, Gwalior. Our guest speaker from USA, Dr. Mudita Arora, an expert on nutrition. Professor Uttam Sharma, coordinators Dr. Shweta Keshwani and Dr. Dipali Saxena, heads of the institutes and departments, faculty members, students and participants. It's a great honor to welcome our chief guest and the speaker to this virtual platform of the university. Although we are going offline on few occasions, but few programs are still on the virtual platform, including today's observation of World Health Day. Good health and well-being has been recognized as a part of the program of sustainable development by the United Nations also. It is in the United Nations list of sustainable development. It occupies the third goal of the sustainable development. Now, focusing on the nutrition, the prevention of disease rather than treatment of disease is taking focus now in the sustainable development. And for the prevention of disease, it is linked to 4 major factors: the nutrition, environment, water, and sanitation. These are the 4 major factors which have been listed by most of the countries as the causal agents of the diseases that can be otherwise prevented if we take care of this, if we take a proper care of all these 4 aspects. In the context of India, there is an establishment now of National Council on Nutritional Challenges in India. And in our country, because of the socio-economic condition, it is estimated that malnutrition in particular contributes to about 15% as a risk factor for the preventable diseases in India. So out of all these 4 factors, the contribution of nutrition is quite high. And when it comes to particularly child nutrition, it is the data shows that the mortality of children under 5, almost the undernutrition accounts for 40% of these mortality under 5 for the children who are under 5. Now this enormous number is due to the socio-economic conditions in which we are living here in India. Particularly, there is a great difference between the urban and the rural areas. And when we talk about sustainability, it has to be sustainability with inclusiveness. That we cannot discriminate between the populations when we talk about sustainability and health. Now, then how do we face this challenge of meeting the nutritional requirement of such a large population. Now, for meeting the nutritional requirement, it becomes necessary to consider the socio-economic zones of the community with which we are dealing, because that greatly contributes to the welfare of the community. In the urban divide in particular, in the context of India, we need to have maybe completely different programs for the urban areas and the rural areas, because the nutritional requirement goes hand in hand with economic affordability of the community in general. As far as I can see, the role of academic institutes in this field, that what can academic institutes contribute for the mitigation of nutritional requirements of a country, then maybe we need to focus on the natural resources available in a local area, rather than having a prescription of one type to the whole country, which may not be affordable by all communities and in all regions. What are the natural resources which can meet the nutritional requirement of the particular community living in a particular region? Maybe if we focus on these aspects, we may be able to contribute towards the upliftment of nutritional requirement of all communities, and it may be more. We may be able to practice sustainability with inclusiveness by such programs. That means region-wise and community-wise, the prescription for meeting the nutritional requirements would be different, depending on the region and depending on the resources, natural resources available in that particular region. So if we can concentrate on that, then maybe it is possible to mitigate the nutritional requirement to a large extent, since particularly focusing on the child mortality of children under 5. So that is one of the major areas of research may be available for the academic institutes where we can contribute. And we look forward to listen to our expert on nutrition from USA, Dr. Mudita Arora, who will be talking in detail about this. And we hope to collaborate with our speaker in future in developing our programs here in this university in the Department of Home Science. And I also extend our invitation to Dr. Arora to visit us anytime she's in India. And also to our chief guest, Dr. Avinash Tiwari, who will be enlightening us with his words of wisdom. So with these opening remarks, I welcome once again Dr. Avinash Tiwari and Dr. Mudita Arora to this online meeting, and welcome you all. Over to you, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. Actually, there is a dire need to be both on a multifaceted so that we can able to mitigate the numbers of problems which are persist in India particularly, and we may achieve the sustainable goals which is set for the India. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. Now I would like to request Dr. Dipali Saxena, Assistant Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Food Science, Department of Food and Nutrition, to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Avinash Tiwari, sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shweta ma'am. First of all, I want to say Happy World Health Day to all. It's my honor to introduce our chief guest, Professor Avinash Tiwari, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jivaji University, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Professor Tiwari is the alumnus of Allahabad University, Uttar Pradesh. Tiwari sir is professor in School of Studies in Botany, Jivaji University, Gwalior since 2006. Sir is also a chairman in Board of Studies in Botany as well as Microbiology. Sir established the Center for Food Technology at Jivaji University and was also coordinator for the same from 2003 to 2012. There is also ex-coordinator of School of Studies in Microbiology, Jivaji University. Tiwari sir played an important role in establishing Center for Tourism and Travel Management Studies at Jivaji University. He also developed a high-precision quality control laboratory having sophisticated instruments at Center for Food Technology, Jivaji University. Sir organized the World Food Day regularly from 2005 to 2011 at Center for Food Technology, Jivaji University, and launched at least 85 new food products during these food festivals between 2005 to 2011. Recently, sir is also state coordinator of GLOBE program for Sikkim, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Assam. This program is being operated by World Bank through Ministry of Environment and Forests, New Delhi, India. He is also a life member of many national and international bodies like International Society on Tropical Crop Research and Development. Sir is also an expert conducting training programs in the field of environment, ecology, microbiology in national as well as international level. Last but not the least, I would like to add Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir vision, that is, focus on functional status in phytosocial parameters as an indicator of various ecosystems, focus on impact of pesticides on functional parameters of ecosystem, and try to make ecology more interesting and applied. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very deep introduction of Sir. This is very fortunate day when eminent personality, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jivaji University, Gwalior, Dr. Avinash Tiwari, Sir, is with us. I would like to request to respected Sir kindly enlighten us with your wisdom words.
Should I start?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure to be associated with Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya and the Vaishnav Institute of Home Sciences. And especially to be associated with an institute wherein we have great director, Dr. Guru Prasad ji, and you have also an invitation from an international speaker, Dr. Mudita Arora. And above all, you have one of my students over there. So that's also a pleasure to be associated with all of you. Basically, I'm a student of ecology, and ecology always projects everything in a holistic view. People often overlap ecology and environment, but in fact, they are two different things. The moment you become a student of ecology, it is inclusive of one and all, everything. Botany, zoology, physics, chemistry, sociology, medical sciences, energy, chemicals, and so on. It's a great thing. So I'll be focusing on the environment aspect as such, about food and nutrition, and the health part as such. So the theme for 2022, as you are all aware of, is Our Planet, Our Health. So we have two keywords over here. First is planet, and the other is health. Both these keywords are inclusive and they have a very wide horizon. Planet as well as health. We have seen some reflections like pandemic, many more diseases, evolution of the virus which causes pandemic or corona, diseases, asthma, cancer. You see the natural system is also evolving. Bacteria, they are evolving. Virus, they are evolving. as per the change in the climate, as per their own survival rate, and so on. So we have to be very cautious while we are dealing with planet. Health, yes, of course. On that preview, we can be a little bit more relaxed. So if you have to keep the planet healthy, you have to keep the inhabitants of the planet healthy, and that is above all the human beings. But that's not only that. You have the flora, you have the fauna, and you have a couple of, let's say, millions and billions of resources to be identified. So you have to eat healthy to stay healthy. Or maybe we can say, to stay healthy, you have to eat healthy. Health is a synonym of lifestyle in my purview. You follow a lifestyle and your body gets customized to that lifestyle. That creates a health parameter for you. If you are someday not performing as per your biological rhythm, then there is some problems. So health is the best wealth, and health depends on lifestyle. If we have healthy people, we have a prosperous nation. And if we have a prosperous nation, definitely more and more prosperous nations combine together to form a healthy planet, which of course is our planet. But it's not only human beings, as I told you. It's a very composite understanding that goes on. I've just used the word lifestyle, and I have also indicated that healthy lifestyle. So what is healthy lifestyle? Do we have a special list of healthy lifestyles? Or healthy lifestyle is actually customized. It depends upon the human being as such. The plants, that's what we call the flora, the fauna. If the environment AQI, that's air quality index, is very bad, even if you have a healthy lifestyle, you can't do anything. If you are having polluted food, adulterated food, you are following a healthy lifestyle, but then you are not becoming healthy. So all these things, they stay together. Let me give you a brief glimpse of what I want to share with you today. First, healthy lifestyle. The first and foremost, in India, as on date, approximately 68 to 70% of the power generated is thermal power, maybe a little bit more. The thermal power itself creates a lot of carbon in the atmosphere. Carbon footprints increase, and not only carbon footprints, but even carbon sequestration is also ineffective. Under those circumstances, if we are consuming more power, even at our end, where we cannot see the power generation, where we cannot see the pollution, but then we are polluting. So then the first and foremost step is that reduce power consumption. It will create a healthy lifestyle, because at some point, at some one end, at some other end of the country, the nation, the planet, the fossil fuel generation, and so many things are being reduced. Second, very lately we have identified water as a resource. Up till now, water was an article. It was often being treated as an article wherein, okay, this is simple water, so you shift it from one glass to another, from one water body to another, and so on. But in fact, very lately, people have recognized that no, it's not water as an article, it's as a resource. So the moment it becomes a resource, then the perception of conservation and so many things jump into it. So we have to treat water as a resource and not as an article. So definitely water harvesting at any point of time is important. Air is also a resource. The flora, the vegetation changes with the climate change. The more the pollution, the more the change in the atmosphere. I'll give you a very simple example. Ma'am, can I exceed 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
All right, thank you.
It would be a privilege, sir.
Thank you. So there are some plants which have basically two types of tissues. One is called as the soft tissues and the other called as the hardy tissues. In botany, we call it as sclerenchyma, parenchyma. But then because of the climate change, the plant wants to adapt itself. And as a result, most of the soft tissues is converted to hardy tissues. Simple, it happens. But then what happens now? The birds' nesting changes. None of the birds make their nest in plants which have a lot of hardy tissues. The moment the bird's nesting changes, the floral dissemination of seeds, the vegetation changes. Not only this, there are a lot of pollens in the atmosphere which suddenly may cause asthma, allergy, and so many other things. As a result of which, we have to be very, very careful about the changing climate as well. So climate and health, they are both related to each other. Adulteration, foods, vegetables, dairy products. I just don't understand why people want to have all the fruits, all the vegetables at all points of season. Why can't we depend on seasonal fruits, seasonal vegetables, and only use them, consume them, make it a part of our diet when they are available in nature? Why do we want to store them? The fauna, migratory birds, they are also becoming a little, you can see most of the national parks, especially for birds, all the migratory birds, they are changing their point of time, they are changing their habitat, and so many things are changing. We have Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary over here, which is hardly around 100 kilometers from here. This was famous for Siberian cranes. We don't have any Siberian cranes now. So what has happened? A lot of stories come in, but people don't know that yes, the climate has also, pressed upon these different types of birds, reptiles, and so many other things to change their migratory routes. And you'll be surprised to know even pollen grains have migratory routes. If you just want to check what type of pollens, what type of flora are migrating from your garden, from the top of your house, just take a slide, put some Canada balsam in it, and put it on the top of it, take it out after 24 hours, see it under a microscope, you'll find different types of pollen. Identify them, and then you'll be happy to know, well, these are the migratory plants which are at the move migrating from the top of my house. And they keep on changing. They become a part of our diet as well. So we have to be cautious about so many things over here. Then, above all, a healthy mind also projects a healthy body. Habits, societal connectivity, the ambience, the healthy atmosphere, and above all, the urban and the industrial ecosystems which have now developed up, and they are moving very fast, which have been given for it. They are also need-based, and therefore we have to look into them as a part of a need which comes as a part of the health and a part of the planet. The food connects to health, nutrition, nourishment, and this food controls the vitals of our body. I'm not a man of nutrition, but then yes, I know that they do control most of the vitals of our body. So my health does not depend on what I eat. In fact, my health depends upon what my body keeps. My body may reject so many things which I'm eating. It's not going to be absorbed. It's not going to be a part of our system. The human system, either it's anatomy or morphology or physiology, whatever it is, it's not going to be a part of it. It's not going to help us. So we have to be categorically clear. And therefore, every time we say health, healthy body, you cannot have a common formula for one and all. You have to have a customized lifestyle for remaining healthy. And diet and nutrition is a part of the lifestyle. Not the only component, but yes, a part of it. So this is a very small angle of what I am talking of. And if you relate health to environment, to climate, if you see our olden books, they talk about the climate in Sanskrit. Abhigyan Shakuntalam. They talk about the climate, chirping of birds. How is it possible? Climate is related to health. If you see the tribals, at some point of their season, they don't eat everything all the time. They say, no, we should not eat this during winters. We should not eat this during summers, during monsoons, or we should try to eat such part of food during different seasons. This is a great part which we are missing as such. So for a healthy planet, we need healthy humans. And for healthy humans, we need a healthy environment, which is in fact very composite, very big. And this is not a one-time part. It has to go on a sustainable basis. Every time it changes. So this is a little bit part for what I wanted to share with all of you on this occasion. And I'm taking this opportunity to congratulate the Institute and all the organization, students, and of course, all those people who are connected on the website or maybe in different apps, to please, a message from my side, please think of the planet, think of your health, think of your environment. Thank you very much. And thank you again for inviting me on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable word and connecting lifestyle with health as a Siamese twins, which cannot be separated, we consider, and orient us with the numbers of factors which we are contributing to the nature, and thus nature itself reflecting us numbers of things. Thank you so much for your valuable words.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
now I would like to request Dr. Dipali Saxena ma'am again to introduce our eminent speaker of the day, Madam Mudita Arun.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to introduce our today's speaker, Mudita Arora ma'am. Mudita Arora ma'am is MSc MS, registered dietitian, nutrition, and a current delegate and immediate past year of Indians in Nutrition and Dietetics USA. Ma'am is working as a hospital nutrition business manager for Reckitt Mick Johnson. Ma'am served on Kentucky Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics as president, nominated committee chair, and state media representative in the past. She's a native of New Delhi, India, and mostly recently lived in San Francisco, California, before relocating to Lexington, California. Ma'am received a BSc in Food Science from David Caven College, first MSc in Food Science and Nutrition from India, second MS degree in Hospitality and Dietetics Administration from University of Kentucky, as well as Culinary Management internship from Penn State University. Ma'am worked as a neurological dietitian in Augusta, Georgia, providing medical nutrition therapy for stroke patients, neuro, ICU, gunshot wounds, and traumatic brain injury patients. Ma'am has also worked as a clinical nutrition manager at University of Maryland Medical System and as a consultant dietitian for patient dining project and as a director of food and clinical nutrition services at the university. Most recently, she also worked as a clinical nutrition manager and a subject matter expert for healthcare food service systems and special projects in San Jose, California. Ma'am has completed pro bono diabetic management and weight loss consulting from Kentucky guest on famous Dr. Phil's line of production TV show Face the Truth. Yes, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to request Mudita ma'am, please, ma'am, session is yours, stage is yours, and the platform is yours. Please enlighten us, all of us, with your wisdom words.
Thank you, Dr. Shweta, and thank you, Dr. Dipali. It is such an honor to be speaking in front of eminent and such well-accomplished administrators, professors, my colleagues, my dietitian colleagues, and dear students and their families. So I was listening to Dr. Guru Prasad, and then I got a chance to listen to Dr. Tiwari. It is such a beautiful kickoff to the session that Dr. Guru Prasad ji and Dr. Tiwari ji has brought the whole, like the bigger view of planet and health to a more inclusive, on a more inclusive platform. So one thing that I try to do, either if I'm presenting or attending a session, I try to have some takeaway from the session. I understand, after being here for 90 minutes, 2 hours, we might not remember each and every word said by a speaker or such people who are full of wisdom and experience. But what I try to do is like have some takeaway that stays with you, like in a long run, in your later life, that you can look back and say, hey, what did I learn from that? So up till now, my takeaway from this session is that Dr. Guru Prasad ji talked about sustainability with inclusiveness. It is so important. It is like $1 million words of wisdom. We can be very, very diverse. We can have this diversity of flora and fauna, but if we are not inclusive, if we are not, like diversity and inclusion goes hand in hand. Just having diversity of foods on the table does not sometimes help if you don't know how to pair them right so that they can bring more health to you. So Dr. Tiwari ji said something about reducing power consumption. He spoke beautifully about the climatic changes, the migration. So my takeaway from today's session from him will be reduce power consumption. Especially in developed countries like USA, we take so many things for granted. And one of that thing is power. We just don't know where the line of using and abusing starts. So having that, I would request my audience today to have some takeaway from this session so that we, our collective time spent together is of some use to you and to me as well. So it will be my honor to now kick off this session from the health perspective as well. Is it okay if I share my screen, or would you be putting the...
Ma'am, I would like to request you present the screen because there might be an issues from our end.
Okay, got it. Just give me a second. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Awesome. So the topic of my today's presentation is based on the campaign for the World Health Day 2022, that is Your Planet and Your Health. And both Dr. Guru Prasad ji and Dr. Tiwari ji has spoken beautifully about these, including planet as well as health. I would like to add a little bit more to it, is that our planet and our health is ultimately our responsibility. We cannot depend on coming generations to take care of our health. We cannot expect that we should leave them a dirty planet, a planet that is diseased and not in a healthful condition. So we have to start making a difference today. And in our own ways, we can do that. In small ways, we can do that. So like we are celebrating our World Health Day, it is a great, great day to start thinking of how we can make those small changes in our lives. For Dr. Tiwari ji, like reducing power consumption. And during the presentation, I'll give one nugget for you to take home. And that nugget that I would like to say is reducing food waste. Knowingly or unknowingly, we waste a lot of food. So if we can, from the health perspective, say from the planet, like if we reduce the power consumption, like the carbon footprint can be reduced, and there could be less carbon dioxide emissions or carbon monoxide emissions. From a dietitian perspective, it would be my urge to the audience, if you can make one change in your life, is to reduce the food waste. So the learning outcomes of today's presentation would be just to talk more about the World Health Day 2022 that we all know is April 7th this year. The theme of this year's World Health Day is Our Planet, Our Health. What are the different ways of getting healthy, and why the dietitian consultation has become all the more important in nowadays than earlier days. And then we'll wrap it up with a summary. So thank you, Dr. Shweta, and Dr. Dipali for reaching out. You both were very amiable, very persistent, and it is my honor to be presenting today as a fellow dietitian who was trained in India. I always say I may live in USA, but my story started in India. So we it is a very nice feeling to come back and speak to the home, home country, and of course the colleagues, the dietitian colleagues as well. So one thing that when I was researching more about the 2022 theme, Your Planet, Your Health, it is so important for us to know that 3.6 billion people around the world don't have safe toilets. 2 billion people do not have access to safe drinking water. It may sound like a developing country problem, but it is everywhere. Even in USA, there are places where people do not have access to safe drinking hygienic water. So we are still somehow going through the pandemic. We have hopefully ride the huge wave of COVID-19 as of now. What has COVID-19 really taught us? What has pandemic showed us? First of all, it has showed us that science is great, that there's a healing power of science, but it also highlighted that we have social inequities in the world. There's one country in the world who has access to all these health resources, vaccines, and the other country, on the other hand, is struggling to get the citizens vaccinated. So these are the inequities in the world. The pandemic has also shown that well-being of the societies is committed to the equitable health now and for the future generations without breaching ecological limits. I know Dr. Tiwari ji is is a super expert in this area. So at the end of the day, if we do not have good hygienic sanitary environment to live in, clean water to drink, foods that are not adulterated to eat, how is our health going to get affected? And if we are diseased in some way, form, or shape, will we be able to contribute to our society, or will we become a burden on the society in a longer run? So these are some questions to ask and ponder on when, if there are any discussions in the future about pandemics and the societies, I would really urge to have a good, solid discussion on these things. And like we said, well-being societies are healthy societies. And Dr. Shweta initially talked, are we able to reimagine the world where clean air, water, and food is available to all? Or just because it's available to me, I should be happy and content, and I should not worry about someone who is not, unfortunately, less fortunate to have that available. How can I contribute to the economies focused on health and well-being? So I would like to say a few words on the social determinants of health. So SDOH, like we in the short form, we say social determinants of health, it has gained a lot of momentum, especially in USA, but this is nothing new for my Indian colleagues. We live it, we breathe it. So there are 6 social determinants of health I would like to discuss today. First is economic stability. Economic stability is brought to us by our employment, our income, whether we are in debt or what kind of expenses we have, what kind of medical bills we are raking, support system in the medicine field, it all entails your economic stability. Second is neighborhood and physical environment. Where I live, how safe that environment is. Is it safe for my child? Is it safe for my elderly parent who might be suffering from Alzheimer's? Will they be able to walk are there sidewalks where my elderly parents can walk safely without having the fear of getting into an accident? What are my housing conditions? Transportation. Is my child able to go to the school in proper transportation? Am I able to commute to my hospital properly without fearing for my life. Playgrounds for the kids. What is the walkability score in your area? We have crowded places and everywhere. So is it safe for an older person? Is it safe for a little child to be in those surroundings? What is your PIN code? Like there are sometimes demographically PIN codes. You can say that certain PIN codes have a certain social, could be associated to certain socioeconomic status. It usually you can see in USA, certain zip codes or PIN codes have a certain strata of people living. What about education? We all are educators in some way, form, or shape. What is the literacy level of your population? Language is spoken. The people who speak more than one language, they know that they have been to places, or they have more exposure. They have more diversity in their lifestyle, but now they're also inclusive. What is the early childhood education? What is the availability of early childhood education? To Dr. Guru Prasad, when you were talking about the childhood mortality, what is the education level and literacy level of the parent to be able to focus on the health of a child? Vocational trainings, how many of the what percentage of population has achieved higher education? It all determines your health. Very importantly, food. Are you living in an area which is a food desert? Or are you living in a food secure area? Do you have enough grocery stores where you live? There are many, many people in India as well as in USA who do not have access to a good grocery store for miles, maybe. They're living in interiors. They're living without electricity, possibly, without clean water. What are the access to healthy options in those grocery stores? Like Dr. Tiwari ji said, that my health will depend on what my body keeps, right? But if I'm only feeding wrong things to my body has to eventually take some nutrition out of that as well, because that's the only source what I have. So are there access to healthy options for the population? Then comes community, safety, and social context. What is the social integration? What is the support system in the society? How engaged the communities are? What is the stress level? We have a lot of younger population nowadays suffering from sudden cardiac arrest. They have increased incidence of diabetes. With diabetes comes the kidney problems later on, and a lot of younger generation possibly is consuming more alcohol than before. So how is it affecting their liver in a long run? And are we trying to combat our stress through, consuming maybe unhealthy foods or liquor or things like that? Now, exposure to violence and trauma. We all know that domestic violence happens. We all know that people get shot all the time or they get robbed. What is the exposure of violence or trauma in the area? How is the police system there? Like, are people afraid of police, or can really go and rely on the police system? What are the justice policies in that area or in that community? Last but not the least, our healthcare system. What kind of health coverage do we have? There are plenty of people in USA who are not insured. They do not have any health coverage. There are areas that are very high in homeless population. So when that happens and that particular person ends up in a hospital, the hospital has a legal obligation to take care of that person. They cannot say that just because you do not have health insurance, we will not give you the medicine or we will not provide you the patient care. But what happens to the healthcare system at the end of the day? How is it sustainable if we are not contributing back to the system? what are the pharmacy availabilities in the area? Do we have enough provider, doctors, and the pharmacy availability? What do we have culturally appropriate and respectful care? If my mother goes to the hospital and she is a Hindi speaking native, would she be able to get the same treatment in a hospital in USA what I would get? Because I can clearly communicate in English, I can clearly communicate in an accent that they understand. So all this matters. Will my mother be able to freely speak of her issues if she is, if the linguistic or the language barriers are there? So at the end of the day, your quality of care matters in all this case. So from the economic stability to the physical environment, education, food, healthcare systems, community and social context, this all makes your social determinants of health. This all contributes to our health in some way, form, or shape. And to Dr. Guru Prasad ji saying that child mortality, that is one of the things that we have to consider. What are the social determinants of health for that particular child? Do they have access to food? You know, or there are times when parents possibly are spending more money in smoking or consuming liquor than actually feeding a child. It happens here. So what the health and well-being, ultimately it will decide the mortality rate, morbidity rate, life expectancy, healthcare expenditures, our health status, and functional limitations at the end of the day. So if we really look at this picture over here, I would say that it's our responsibility to keep us as humans and our Mother Earth healthy. And then we need to create societies that are focused on lifestyle sustainability, has a lifestyle sustainability focus on it. They're focusing on mind, body, soul. We are not just focusing on one aspect of the well-being of society, and we are also taking everyone with us. We are taking someone who is upper middle class, and we are also taking someone who has a lower strata in the socioeconomic status together, because otherwise that's where the imbalance comes in the society. So if you contribute any content or any blog today on the occasion of World Health Day, do use the hashtag Healthier Tomorrow. This is a hashtag for the World Health Day 2022, and it says our planet, our health, clean our air, water, and food. So I'm going to try playing a video for you all. And before that, I would say that on the left-hand side, there are two infographics that says घर पर स्वादिष्ट खाना बनाएं and सप्ताह भर के लिए स्वास्थ्यवर्धक भोजन और नाश्ते की योजना बनाएं. So this content was created by myself and two other Indian origin dietitians here in USA for National Nutrition Month. In US, National Nutrition Month is celebrated in the month of March, which just ended. So this is the level of diversity and inclusion we are talking in the food and nutrition arena here in US. We have brought ourselves to a level where the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is coming and saying, would you be willing to help us create our English content into your language, Hindi, so that we can reach to more population, more Hindi native speaking population in USA and abroad. So I take a lot of pride in able to speak Hindi. So we were able to convert all the English content into Hindi, and it was able to reach many more people. For example, my mother, who is a Hindi and a Sanskrit teacher, loved seeing something in Hindi. Not that she cannot read in English, but when you are connected to a language, you feel more personal. It's more personal to you then, and you get more out of it. So I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works.
as part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, achieving universal health coverage, and the level of services that across life.
Ma'am, the video has started.
Dr. Shweta, are you not able to hear the audio?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's very, I'm not able to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is not audible, ma'am.
It's not audible. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I'll restart this and I'll ask you if you can hear it or not.
Sure.
Because if you are not able to hear it, I would not like to take your time because it will not be the best use of our time then.
Maybe in that case, maybe, yeah.
Are you able to hear it?
No, ma'am. It's not
Okay.
loud.
So what I could suggest is my presentation is with you. If there's anybody who's interested, can take it directly from there, or I have taken it directly from the World Health Organization's website, and it is loaded there. It was my intent to put 2 videos on the presentation, which goes back to 2020 and 2021, because I can confidently say that last 2 years were the most life-changing years in our lives. So it is important to see that why this year's theme is Your Planet, Your Earth, Your Health. I think it is also coming from what valuable lessons we have learned from 2020, which was the main prime year for COVID-19, as well as 2021, which also carried over some of the hardships that we faced in 2020. So I will not play this just because if it's not audible, but it is very much available on the website. So feel free to check it out there. Okay. So okay, so that will, the link over here is from 2020 World Health Day celebration, and the theme was a healthy diet, a healthier world. So Walt Disney has said that the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Sometimes there's a lot of mean talk, there's a lot of good words thrown around, but when it comes to action, the action, we are not looking at the SMART goals, so we are not looking at the tangible outcomes. So again, like I said, that we must have some takeaway from today's session, like it should bring some value to our lives. And for me, I'm repeating again, my takeaways is to create a sustainable ecosystem with inclusiveness, as well as wherever possible, reduce power wastage or power consumption. And my nugget for you or your food for thought would be to reduce food waste. Now, when it comes to our health, what comes in your mind? How are you putting yourself first, putting your health first? Anybody, like, can you throw in some example there, like how you're putting your health first?
You can write in a chat box.
Yes, feel free to write in the chat box. I would like to read at least 1 or 2. If somebody has any insight on this, I would love to read, a couple of ideas that you have, like how you put your health first. What are the ways you are trying to stay healthy? Very nice. And when we say plantation of trees, it could be a small vegetable garden in your backyard. Or it could be a big level project in the community. What else? One more. Very good. By eating homemade foods, seasonal foods. Wow, this is great, because eating and growing mushrooms. Try to go organic. That's very great. I mean, so the minds are churning right now. We are starting to think, how am I going to stay healthy in this world that is full of stress and disease? So this is very, very simple. I just say, vary your diet. Eat a variety of nutritious foods, not only on special occasions, not only think that, oh, today is my vrat, so I'll eat healthy today, or I won't eat this. Include some kind of nutritious foods on your daily basis. How many of us keeps up with the water consumption? Like, do we hydrate ourselves properly? And I think in India, I have seen a lot of good practices for hydration, even homemade beverages like nimbu pani, or some other sort of like ampanna or kanji. Like, I have seen a lot of good beverages being made at home. I'm not sure, and Dr. Shweta and Dr. Dipali, just feel free to pitch in over here, but do you see that there's a lot of awareness to see and read nutrition facts panel on the foods in India? Would you say that confidently?
Ma'am, it is now increasing. It is now the increasing trend. The people have started, after the corona, we can say that the people have started looking on the nutritional value as well as the nutrient content on the label. So the trend has increased. We have seen certain reports, certain researches which have done in 2021 and 22. The trend has increased.
Very nice. That is so encouraging to hear. And what about portion control? I'm very sure you have heard this, that the research shows that it takes 20 minutes for your brain to realize that your tummy is full. But in that 20 minutes, we are actually eaten more food. So, quote unquote, it's overeating. So if we practice portion control, to some extent, we can, and we also, if we do take time to enjoy our food, do more mindful eating habits, hopefully the weight gain issues and some of the obesity issues can be handled at some level. I'm not saying that it can just totally go away from just by portion controlling and mindfulness, but to a very good extent, you can get a handle on those things. Time to plan your meals. Like, how many of us take time every, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, and plan our meals for the next week? Sometimes we are just running so busy that we might just take it one day at a time. We might not have time to go grocery shopping ahead of time, or we might not have a main ingredient that we want to cook. So it always helps if you plan your meal ahead of time. So few of the tips are like, always write a grocery list before going for the shopping. When you do that, you are less likely to spend more time in grocery shop, just like, going in every aisle looking for things, because you will have a list to go by. Do not go to grocery store when you are hungry, because when you are hungry, and you are in a grocery store where you have a lot of snacks and namkeens and biscuits and this, you will end up picking something that is not needed. It possibly was an urge to get it at that time because you were feeling hungry, but it won't be needed. What about when we eat outside? Do we say, oh, today I'm just going to, enjoy myself and not worry about health? Or it's okay. It's okay to enjoy yourself. It's actually rather great to enjoy yourself, but don't put everything at the back seat under the name of enjoyment. And it also becomes a lifestyle. It also becomes the mindset, when we are creating foods, are we trying to create a little bit healthful recipes, or are we going by all the fancy YouTube videos we see where they say, oh, put this butter makes everything tasty and this and that. Of course, it's a form of fat. It's going to make it so flavorful. But is it good for our arteries and cardiovascular health in a long run? Possibly no. What about at school and at work? And this also goes back to people who are very busy. Say you are a high functioning administrator in a big university, or you are a professor who's running from one class to another class. Take time to eat food, because at the end of the day, that's why we are working so hard to put the bread and butter on the table, to put, and my philosophy in life is, no matter how rich you become, I'm not going to start eating gold and diamond at home, right? I'm still going to eat roti and dal and chawal and sabzi. And so what are we really worried about and running after? Take that 15 minutes, half an hour, and just enjoy your food. Especially if it's a luxury to get food from home, like here we call it luxury because we don't have that kind of time. We are doing everything by ourselves, and sometimes we put ourselves at the back seat. And there is a lot of food available, like through drive-throughs or quick service restaurants, but in a long run, it's not a good thing for your health. And just a lot of people might have a traveling jobs nowadays. So when you know that you have certain kind of a lifestyle, change your eating habits around that, because that will take you, that will be good for you in a longer run. So I'm really interested in knowing that how many of us here actually cook in the kitchen. Like maybe like some participants can throw it out in the chat. Do you cook at home? Do you use a lot of like outside groceries or outside restaurants to get food to your home? Do you use services like Zomato and, so many services available in India, food like home delivery? Because I have heard that's an increasing trend, that people are finding it easier to get food ordered from outside than actually cooking at home. Really, really good, Sneha and Nidhi. If Dr. Anjali, you cook at home, Meetu, that's very, very good. Ria, actually, that's my daughter's name, is Ria as well. This is so nice to hear that people still take time to cook at home. And it's okay to have house help. Like if you have somebody to help cook your meals, you are still getting the best bang for your buck when you have the flavors of your homemade food, but you're using quality products and quality ingredients to take care of your health as well. Very nice. So here are some of the ideas, like, how you can learn skills to create healthy and flavorful meals. Definitely, one of my requests is to practice proper home food safety, because the foods that are not handled properly, or they are not saved properly, can lead to some health conditions, or like, for example, very prominent is food poisoning. And in one of these things, I have said, reduce food waste. So about February of 2019, like I was, the way life was going, and it was very, very tough at that time. I have a very young child, very busy husband, and at that time I had 3 dogs at home, and I was serving as a director of food and nutrition services. So life was just going away, and I no matter how much I planned, I was always like throwing something or the else in the garbage. And I didn't like it, because I felt that it is somehow, it's not only that I'm wasting money, because that money is practically that you used to buy the food is going in the garbage, but also it's not a good habit to develop and continue, because it hurts our Mother Earth at some point of time. And I felt for those farmers who work so hard in the in the scorching heat, or in the different climates that sometimes we don't even want to be outside at that time when they're working in their fields growing these crops, and when finally they're making to our kitchens and homes and on our plates, we're just throwing them away. Like, how many times we have taken extra rice and dal and just said, oh, I'm full, and we just throw it away. Like, I started to really feel that I'm being not responsible if I am throwing food knowingly. So I made a very conscious effort to not overcook, or not to do any kind of food waste, whatever best I could do. We bring a bunch of fruits, and then kabhi they go bad. Sometimes they are overripe and we don't want to eat it. Try to freeze them, try to cut them and freeze them, make smoothies out of them, make shakes out of them later on. But try to reduce the food waste. You will feel happy. I bet you, like, if you, if something you can take from today's presentation is like, food is not to be taken for granted. And if you can reduce its wastage, I think we will do some form of favor to Mother Earth. And yes. Okay, so this is something, it's very close to my heart, because like Dr. Guru Prasad ji said, that nowadays, and so Dr. Tiwari ji said also about the lifestyle sustainable practices nowadays. So it's not only important to go see a doctor or a dietitian once we have diabetes, once we have kidney issues, once we have cardiovascular issues, once somebody has a COPD. It's important to do preventive maintenance. We do preventive maintenance of the equipments at home. We do preventive maintenance of our AC and coolers and TVs and whatnot. So why not our own bodies? This is something that's going to stay with you till the day we go, go away. So I would really encourage you, if you have not already done so, when you go for your doctor checkup, or if your doctor has an access to a bigger healthcare system, ask for a referral for a dietitian. It's no harm to get a personalized diet plan ahead of time that you can follow. Or if you know that you have a genetic history of diabetes, or you are more prone to get some thing later in the life, try to take care of it ahead of time. You try to meet your dietitians or nutrition experts in the variety of settings through community. Like, people organize 5K walks nowadays, people go for running, people meet in the parks to go for walking. There could be social media, like communities on social media where you can meet your health and food and nutrition experts there. So try to have that web of people who can help you when the need comes. Or if you need a referral, then somebody will be able to refer you to a qualified professional. And then find a dietitian who is specialized to serve in your unique field. Because, like one of our speakers said, that it is not a cookie cutter approach. Like, one size does not fit all. So it's a lifestyle thing. I have to find a customized care for myself. I have to know that my body is different from the person standing next to me. Two of my diabetic patients could have two different other things going on in their life, that I might have to create nutrition program for both of them, depending on what they are going through, other than diabetes in their life. What if my client has a mental health issues? Or what if my client has a disability? Would they be able to cook and clean and sanitize everything the same way my other client could do? Possibly yes or no, but then it has to be customized and specialized for the individual. And not only just survive, but thrive through the transformative power of food and nutrition. So it's not only just not eat just to eat, eat to have a thriving life, where you feel good about yourself, where when you look at yourself in the mirror, you feel comfortable in your skin. So here is like 3 of my just pictures in totally different settings, like one is actually me working in a hospital, another one is in a farmer's market, and the third one was when I was outside with one of the restaurant chefs, trying to find the fresh fruits and vegetables for her cooking for the day. So in the summary, I would really emphasize that a healthier you leads to happier you. It's not something to show off. If you're eating healthy foods, you know that it's going to bring value to your body. And when you feel healthy in some form or shape, you feel happy. And that our Mother Earth and our health is our own responsibility. I would say that if we are not worried about our health, then why do you think somebody third party would be more worried about our own health, about my health, right? If I need to take charge of my health, and then we all can make a difference in our own ways. It doesn't have to be, I don't have to be some big shot, rich person to make a difference. I can make a difference in my own humble ways, whether planting a tree, whether trying to eat more organic, whether trying to, feed a child who is possibly malnourished and can use some of, if you can share a little bit of your wealth and maybe make a difference in that child's life. We all can make a difference in our own ways. And just one more thing I would like to say before I wrap it up is, when Dr. Tiwari talked about the lifestyle management, and I was taking some notes, I love to write some nuggets down because, our memories get crowded with other things later in the day. So going back and looking at the notes really help. And we talked about the lifestyle management. So one important part of the lifestyle management that I can think of is to live in the moment. Whether you are eating your food, whether you're watching a movie, whether you are talking to a friend, whether you are just calling your parent, calling your amma, appa, or grandparents to just talk to them. Live in the moment. It will give you such immense satisfaction that you will feel that, when just by being present in the moment, you absorbed everything, whether it was a conversation, whether it was a meal time for you. You can see like the kids really can, your children will absorb that as well, and they will observe, and hopefully they will also have some mindful practices in the future. But very importantly, live in the moment. Your health is your responsibility. Leave a better planet and leave better kids to this planet. Leave a good functioning planet Earth for the coming generations, but also make sure that we are raising kids in a healthy and a very mindful manner so that they can take care of the Earth later on too. And like I said, we do not have to have, all the resources and plenty of money to make a difference. You can make a difference in your own way. And trust me, at the end of the day, you'll find yourself more happy and more healthy in some way, form, or shape. So with this, I would like to wrap up my presentation for today. And I just want to share that I have, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn handle. If anybody would like to get in touch, I know there are a couple of people who have reached out already, and I have added them on my LinkedIn profile. But if you are interested, then you can take down the, or feel free to email me as well. I'll be happy to connect with you. It is such an honor. It is such a great feeling to be able to talk to my people back home. I consider India as my home, and it is, my pleasure to be able to speak on such an important day of the year. That's a World Health Day. So again, in the wrapping up, I really want to thank Dr. K.N. Guruprasad ji, Dr. Avinash Tiwari ji, Dr. Uttam Sharma ji, for your time and your consideration, for having me on the same platform, because you all are very well accomplished and eminent bodies in the esteemed institutions that you take care of. As well as, and last but not the least, it was such a pleasure to get in touch with Dr. Dipali and Dr. Shweta. I'm so happy to see the growth of Food and Nutrition Institute of Home Economics in India. It's so needed, and it is such a vast world out there, especially in the field of dietetics and nutrition. Sky is the limit, it is such an honor to be able to speak to my fellow dietitian colleagues in India. And just last but not the least, this year or next year, whenever I get a chance to come to India, I would love to be in touch with you. If I get a chance to come to Indore, it would be my honor to come and visit your esteemed institution. And hopefully sometime this year, I will start my practice, private practice, in addition to my job and the volunteer role as the delegate of Indians in Nutrition and Dietetics. And the name of my business that I have decided is Poshan. So Poshan, like we say in Hindi, like it's nutrition, but it will, of course, I would have to put it in English over here. But it is, I still feel very connected to my roots in India, and it would be my honor to come and visit your esteemed institution one fine day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This was a wonderful presentation, and we have seen in the presentation itself the journey from farm to plate, how much we should take care, and what are the important key points which we need to take care to decide or to menu plan or to give someone or to advise someone a therapeutic diet or the person who are in a need. And thank you so much for being there, and thank you for acceptance of our invitation, ma'am.
Absolutely, it's my honor. Thank you.
Now I would like to request to Dr. Uttam Sharma sir, kindly give a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Shweta ma'am, and good afternoon to all. On behalf of Department of Food and Nutrition, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya, I would like to express my gratitude to Chief Guest of the occasion, Dr. Avinash Tiwari ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jivaji University, for sparing his valuable time and motivating us. Thank you very much, sir. A special thanks to our esteemed speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Mudita Arora from United States, for giving insights and creating awareness about the theme of World Health Day, our planet, our health. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Upinder Dar, for providing immense support. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Santosh Dar, Dean Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research, to mentor our institute. I would like to thank our director, Dr. K.N. Guruprasad, for his inspiration and encouragement to make the event successful. A big thank to all the participants and convener, Dr. Shweta Tiwari and Dr. Dipali Saxena, and the complete team for the wonderful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable thanks. We have few questions from the participants. Can we take, sir, with your due permission?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, there's one question from Kansana. How we can treat common health issues like PCOS with appropriate diet?
So I would say that PCOS is very prevalent in women, and I would, you have to look at so many different things, from the hormonal balance to your diet, everything. So I have put my email over here. If I would like to take this as a case by case basis, because, you know, talking generally about it, you can even find things online, like, but if I were to talk to the audience, then it can become a long a presentation by itself. So I have put my email over here, which is mudita.arora@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. I will be very happy to have an in-depth discussion on PCOS and or any other related information that you have, you know, if there's a case that you would like to discuss with me.
Since the fasting days are around us in terms of Rosa and as well as the Navratras, how to stay healthy and fresh during the fasting? Adia would like to know, ma'am, if we can share a few words from your side.
Sure. So fasting, like we know, Navratri is going on, and then the holy month of Ramzan is going on as well. First of all, what is our idea of fasting? Like, are we doing it for religious reasons, or are we doing it for health reasons? I would say stay hydrated if it is allowed during the fasting based on your religion, but also like be very mindful in what you're eating. There can be a lot of snacks that could be fried, and, you know, but a lot of grains that are not, that we can use, like sabudana, and in some areas of India, I have seen like people use ragi as well. So just a good balanced, well-balanced meal when you are ready to break the fast. I see that we stay hungry the whole day, and at the end of the day, when the sun goes down, there's a huge feast. It's a part of the culture as well. But during that feasting time also, try to keep it as healthy as possible. And the reason for our fasting is that we are trying to give our gut a little bit of a break. So truly use this time. I don't like to use the word detox a lot, but yes, truly use this time to give your gut a little bit of a break from your normal eating. And you will see that actually sometimes less eating will make you more energetic and less lethargic.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the very good suggestion. Now, as we have about to reach at the last minute of this World Health Day webinar, but let's make a promise to ourselves. We not only inculcate good and healthy practices into ourselves, but also start following them, and thus we will make our planet a better place of Earth. With this note, I would like to say thanks to Dr. Avinash Tiwari sir, Madam Mudita Arora ma'am, Dr. Guru Prasad sir, Dr. Uttam sir, for being here entirely and sharing your valuable words with us. Thank you so much. Again, I would like to request to all participants, feedback for the webinar has been forwarded in the chat. Kindly fill it, as it is mandatory for getting a webinar certificate. And also, I would like to request, kindly give us a time for about 15 days to distribution of the certificate. Now, I'd like to request you all people present, please stand up in their position for the national anthem. I request your technical team to play a national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलगंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Guru Prasad, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.